Recording in progress.
Here's my presentation on assignment one, computer and networking hardware fundamentals. Um, Hardware refers to the physical components of a computer and network. Each component performs a specific function but works together as one system. Another thing is the computer processes, store, transmits data through hardware. Networking hardware also allows devices to communicate and share resources. Understanding hardware is essential for troubleshooting and system performance. This is the next part, the motherboard and data flow. The motherboard is the main part of the computer. It has everything. It connects the CPU, RAM, storage devices, graphics card, and other hardware. Data travels between components through electrical pathways called buses. The chipset manages communication between the CPU and other devices. And then expansion slots allow additional hardware such as graphics or network cards. This is how the data flows. CPU requests data from RAM or storage. Then the motherboard transfers the data through system buses. The CPU processes the information, and then the processed data is sent back to the memory, storage, and output devices. Um, this is storage devices and system memory. The HDD stores data on spinning magnetic disk, provides a large storage capacity at lower cost, slower because it contains moving parts. The SSD uses flash memory without no moving parts, improves boot time and app performance. The RAID combines multiple storage into one system, improves speed, reliability, or both. The common levels are go from 0, 1, and 5. And then the RAM temporary temporary memory used while programs are running, faster than storage devices. Data is erased when power is also turned off. CPU fundamentals. So the CPU is known as the brain, basically gives instructions and performs calculations. So whatever you tell, it basically is the brain, and it controls how the software interacts with the hardware. Um, Another important thing is the fetch, decode, execute style. The fetch retrieves the instruction. So this is basically the steps, retrieves an instruction from memory. Uh, it interprets what the instruction means and then performs the required operation. So basically works like a brain. And then why it's important because it directly affects the overall computer performance. So networking hardware, those three different types I've seen. An IC connects from computer to wired or wireless network, provides a unique MAC address for communication. The switch connects multiple devices within the same LAN area. Um, Sends data only to intended destinations, improves network efficiency by reducing unnecessary traffic. The router connects different networks together, directs data between a local network and the internet, assigns IP addresses, and chooses the best path for data. Network media, um, there's three different types, copper cables, fiber optic cables, and wireless networks. The copper cables use electrical signals to transmit data. It's mostly used in Ethernet networks and is very reliable and effective for short distances. Fiber optic cables uses pulses of light instead of electricity, supports very high speeds over long distances, and it's also resistant to electromagnetic interference. Wireless networks uses radio waves to connect devices without cables, provides flexibility and mobility. Performance can be affected by interference and distance. And that is my presentation.